All right, Fonzie, I know your story, but these people don't. So give me like a normal day before Jesus as a Major League umpire. What did that look like for you? A typical day.
A typical day was, well, I would, back in the minor leagues, I would get to a city. I'd make sure that I'd run over to the liquor store and buy enough beer to carry me through for 2 or 3 days I was in that town. Sleep all day. I'd go work a baseball game. Go to the bar, shut it down, come back to my room, and drink until I would pass out. And that was pretty much, I did that for, I tell people I only got drunk one time, but it was for 10 years. So, pre-Jesus, yes, alcohol, anger, children, a lot of anger, hate, and everything was measured by success in umpiring. Everything led back to that. You know, everything was, am I getting promoted? If I'm not, what a failure. So everything was just negative. It was very dark. It was very dark and very, very dark.
All right, well then, where did the Jesus light start shining?
We always say this, right? We always say it's funny how God works in our lives, right? It's a saying that we always say. Weird how God works in our lives, but it truly is. 1993, the dream was to umpire professional baseball. So I go to umpire school. I didn't have the means, I didn't have the money, but I happened to work a wooden bat league game with a gentleman by the name of Larry Cawhorn, who was a very successful man in his career, and he umpired as a hobby. So I meet this man, and I'm telling him my dream. I want to go to umpire school. He says, well, what's holding you back? Well, I don't have money. My parents can't afford it. I can't afford it. We had just gotten paid for a Little League game. He goes, well, here, start now. He gives me his check, okay? Fast forward, he loans me money, gives me money. I go to umpire school. Now I'm in the game. 1993, I'm in Arizona, and we're meeting other umpires, and in comes this tall white dude, very stocky, good shape, and it's Ted Barrett. Right? So I meet Ted, and one thing that I love about Ted is that, when you meet a lot of people, you meet certain people, it's, hey, it's nice to meet you. And usually that's about it, right? Maybe a question here or there. Not Ted. When Ted meets somebody, it's, he's here. Where are you from? It's here. And so we spoke. It was at a bar, actually. We spoke for what seemed to me for a good hour and a half. And so we hit it off. Fast forward, his dream about ministry. This Larry Cawhorn, who helped me go to umpire school, I invite him to come to Denver. We're working together on the same crew. We're in Denver. We're sitting there talking. He's sharing his vision. Larry Cawhorn had brought his pastor from his church to this dinner, who ended up being our pastor for CFC. And so I start looking back, and it is amazing how God works. Little did I know that gentleman that I met working a wooden bat game, just umpiring, you start connecting the dots. You meet Ted Barrett, you meet Pastor Dean, you get into baseball, and now here we are with CFC, and it was at CFC, there's this awesome cross up on a hill at this ranch where we have our retreat, that I finally get there one year, and I am just so tired. I'm tired of trying to fake people that I'm no longer drinking. I'm no longer doing all these bad things. I'm no longer, it was all just a facade. It was a mask. And I was just so tired. I just remember being tired. My wife, who was here, God bless her, she hung in through put her through some rough times when we were dating. And so I just remember going up to this cross. And I remember just getting on my knees and finally just saying, I am tired. I am tired. And like Nick said, I'm tired of doing this my way because I just keep ruining it. I keep ruining it. I keep pushing people away. I need help. I need help. I need you. Please help me. And it was from that day forward that I no longer had a drink. I gave my life to Christ. As a matter of fact, I like showing this, but I ended up getting a tattoo of that cross. Because to this day, I went up there, gave my life to Christ, and finally truly surrendered and finally just said, I need help. I can't do this.
Amen.
And so life is no longer about do I get the promotion? Do I get the World Series? Do I get the postseason? Do people like me? Do they think I'm a bad umpire? Now it's we go out there representing one person, and it's God, right? It's Jesus. Now what matters to me is, did I represent him well, right? Even when things go south on a baseball field, maybe there's an argument, maybe there's a confrontation. Did I represent Jesus while all this was going on? The accolades and the World Series and the postseasons and the All-Star games, those are great. But it's at the end of the day, did I represent God and my wife and my family the way I should be?
Amen. That's good. Thanks, bud.
That's great. New Testament, Acts chapter 4, 12 and 13-ish. Luke is writing and saying that they were unschooled and they were ordinary men, but people would take note because they had spent time with Jesus. So we've got some time left, and now we've heard the kind of how God grabbed you, how God revealed himself to you. What's the mindset now? Because now you're on mission, and you've shared that, right? The tattoo game is elite. The Nike shoe game is strong. I mean, I know that was kind of a double, like, look at the calves, look at the tat, look at the inkjet printer, and my Nikes are better than your Nikes. So we're going to roll back this way, Fonzie. Your wife already told me backstage you got like 19 nicknames. We'll keep it on the real. But what is the mindset now? Like you just talked about, like, I want to represent him well, but Acts 4, 12 and 13 says, man, you're unschooled and ordinary, but people will take note when you spend time with Jesus. Talk about the mindset when you now go to work. Talk about the mindset when you're on a crew and maybe you get to be a light for someone on your crew that's not down with Jesus.
Yeah, again, the mindset today, before it was, I want to get to the big leagues, I want to get to the big leagues. It's all about the big leagues. I grew up Catholic, as most Mexican families do, and I used God, and when I thought he gave me what I needed, I put him up on the shelf, right? I'll come back to you if and when I need you. And so everything was just, I want to get to the big leagues. I want to work that big game. I want to get, today, again, God puts us where he wants us, right? So, yeah, the hope was that I would become a crew chief someday, right? But the way I was headed, it was never going to happen. I'm lucky to even still be here, truthfully. But, so God places me in a crew chief role. The mindset today is, right, always lead by example, right? So some of the guys that are coming up now to the big leagues, and if they get put on my crew, a lot of these guys knew the old me, and so I want them to see the me today, always having Christ first and foremost, letting Christ lead the way, and just kind of following. And I want them to be able to come to me and say, hey, which has happened. It's amazing that I never thought this would happen, but I had one guy come to me and say, man, there's something about you. there's a peace when everything is just in this locker room. Just there's that something peaceful about you. What? How do I get there? Right? And then it's like, well, let me tell you, it's because Christ is here, because God is here, and there is peace in Him. It doesn't matter what you're going through, right? Easy? No, but there is peace. So mindset is, I can't think of anything else other than leading by example. And then the thing that I struggle with today now is jumping at the opportunities. There's so many opportunities on a baseball field, in a locker room, on an airplane, at an airport, at a restaurant, to share the word and share the gospel and just share the good news, right? So the mindset is that to try to jump at every opportunity and to be able to say, the reason I am this way or that way is because of the man who died for me. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's great. That's great. Ted,